Well, what is going on? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It's very nice to have you here today. I thought today, since we've just spent the last, 4 videos going over some of the new budget-friendly stuff from Begg Knives, that today I would share my entire Todd Begg and Begg Knives collection with you. It just gives me an excuse to dig through my stuff and share what I've got. So let's start with the most recent. This is a Begg Knives creation. This is part of their new budget line. This is the Diamici, or Diamici, Diamici. I think it's Diamici. This is a Jared Van Otterloo design. Begg Knives is interesting. So Todd and his family made Todd Begg Knives for a long time. There was some conflict. Todd went off to do his own thing, and I have one of those here, a couple actually, and Begg Knives went in a different direction. This is probably my favorite of their new budget stuff, budget-friendly stuff. It was $120. It is steel with G10 inlays, D2 blade, just a lovely design, right? Just pretty, I like it. So I had an opportunity to bring this into the collection, and I did. I'm very happy I did. It's just a really nice cutting tool. The rest of the stuff on the table is a little more Todd Begg oriented, so let's do that. Let's just set this over there. Where should we start? Let's start with the Quakens. In a recent video, I showed these off because they have a new budget version of the Quaken. This is the Sun Tzu edition, full-size Quaken, and this is the 3/4 Quaken. When I first saw these knives, I don't know, they're kind of pokey, right? I wasn't 100% sure that it was going to be my knife, and then I got this one in hand and was just blown away at a combination of the overall design, the way it feels in hand, and what an excellent EDC tool it is. Todd Begg's Quaken design has a ton of intricate work on it. I'm not even sure it's going to show up, but there's actually fine milling on this flat surface, so it's not really flat. So there's a ton of mill and scroll work on here. The titanium then has these raised spots. It's got this sort of fuller in the titanium. It's got a titanium backspacer, full tie clip. It is running on IKBS bearings. A lot of the older Steelcraft, and this is 6 or 7 years old now, 8 maybe. IKBS bearings are interesting. That means they're loose inside the knife. They sit in a race on the inside of the blade. And that means when you take this apart, there's a whole bunch of little tiny ceramic balls. I do not take these apart very often. But I got my hand on this and said, oh, it's just gorgeous. Now this trailing point, or Persian style blade, if you will, is a fantastic EDC carry. I have another knife actually a lot like this. The Ablaya by the folks over at CKF. I know this isn't really the shape for everyone, but I just love it. It's got tons of belly, right? It's great for everyday use. You can even use it in the kitchen if you want to. It's a very clean and simple design in the way that it's shaped. But the intricacy, I can speak, is built into the design. So I fell in love with it, and then I had an opportunity to pick up the 3/4, and it's everything I love about this one, just a little bit more daily carry friendly in that it's smaller. One of the things that I like better about the full size is that you'll see this is all belly, whereas this has a little bit of flat back here. This is all, so basically they just pulled the blade back so that it's, there you go, you can see, right? These are exceptional. And unfortunately, you paid for the privilege when they came out. I think this one was about $450, and the 3/4 was about $400. You really pay for the privilege. And neither one of these is in production now, so you won't be able to find one. You can, however, get the $120 budget-friendly version from Begg Knives now in D2, if you're interested. But I really like these. Go ahead and set that there. And that there, shall we? What should we look at next? How about some glimpses? just a glimpse. So this is a full custom glimpse in one of the sort of variant blade shapes. I talked to Todd. This is 10 years old or more at this point. This was from his shop in Petaluma. It is titanium and G10 with carbon fiber inlay. It is most likely RWL34 because that is what he worked with. It is... I just love this thing. Check this out. Interesting. The liners are two different sizes. That's because over on this side is the liner lock portion. And so he wanted it to be a little thicker. And so it's a little heavier than the other side. Overall, this is just a very comfortable knife. It's got a very traditional sort of Todd Begg shaped pocket clip on it. Of course, this is all tie as well. Nothing fancy at the pivot. But look at that. The handwork done on that hand satin. That's just a lovely knife. I have no idea how much this would cost. Custom stuff is worth whatever the buyer is willing to pay. And I'm not letting this one go ever. So there's that. And staying with the glimpses, I have the We Made SteelCraft Glimpse from 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is all titanium liners. The same sort of inlaid carbon fiber in smooth G10. This one is S35VN. Also IKBS bearings. I think this one's actually on washers. I said bearings in the video, but I'm fairly sure that's on washers. I'm not taking this apart. I don't know. This one is IKBS bearings, which means as with this one, inside here are a series of little tiny ceramic balls. I'm not going to take this apart unless I absolutely have to. But it is a fantastic carry, lovely deep carry pocket clip, right? Excellent shape. You can get forward on the blade. I love this thing. These were not inexpensive. Let's see. Yeah, this was about $350 when it came out. If they were to make this knife today, well, anyway, it'd be very expensive. Let's get into some of the weirder stuff, shall we? Let's move this here. There. This is a Field Marshal. This is a production, SteelCraft production of one of his customs. Also IKBS bearings, full titanium. Look at the milling on that tie. It's just a beautiful knife, and the blade on this thing is just an absolute monster. Really good to use, really good to work with. I do not beat some of these up because you're not going to get replacements. So I am willing to carry and use it on a daily thing, but you know, I don't like take this out to the forest with me or anything, but I just love the way the Field Marshal looks. I had one of these with more silver on it, and I ended up letting it go because I didn't know they were going to stop production. And as soon as I let it go, it sort of became clear to me that I wasn't going to be able to replace it, and I was really bummed out about that. And then this one came up for trade, and I was like, yeah. The Field Marshal is a monster. Just super comfortable in hand, excellent cutter, light hollow grind on that S35VN. You got to love the Todd Begg fuller with holes in it. If you don't, well, it's probably not the knife for you, but I don't mind at all. Look at the scroll work, the milling on that backspacer. It's just a beautiful knife. Recently, Todd Begg sort of brought his War Junkie line of knives forward. So these two are SteelCraft. This is SteelCraft. This is SteelCraft. That's their factory version of his custom knives. That's custom. This one is made by Artisan. This is a factory version of one of his customs. This is the Citadel. And my buddy Dirk Warning had, or has, the full custom version of this. And I had them both in hand for a while. And I got to tell you, I like the Artisan version better. Now, this is pushing the bounds of tactical. When I post videos of this and when I did the review, a lot of people were like, that's a gas station knife. And I get it. I understand why. It's like aggressively cool. A little too much. But I'm glad I have one. I'm never going to have one of the customs. They're too much money, and the detent and the overall fit and finish on this thing is better, as far as I can tell, than the custom, at least the one I saw. This is fully inlaid carbon fiber in the S35VN blade. It is running on more traditional ceramic bearings. It's got the ceramic ball on the clip. This thing rides in and out of the pocket very well. It's full tie, big, fat slice of tie back here. These were about $400. There was a kind of a mixed response when these came out, and I understand why. And you know, if well, I mean, if this is your kind of knife, if you're a rat carrier, this is not going to make any sense at all. And if you survived the 80s and 90s like I did, you're going to know that why people call this kind of gas station-y. But I'll tell you, this is an exceptionally good knife. Well-made. Artisan just killed it with this thing. So I'm really glad that I have it. It's different. It's interesting. Yeah, I traded for it. I wasn't going to spend the $400, but when one came up in trade, I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And it has served me exceptionally well, and will continue to do so if you like it. And if you don't, that's cool. Not all knives are for all people, and that's fine too. We don't all have to like the same things. In the War Junkie line brings me to my next War Junkie knife. This is a fixie. This is the all-terrain made by White River Knives. I've seen their stuff at Blade Show, both East and West. White River makes exceptionally nice knives, and so they brought the all-terrain here to life for Todd Begg. And this has become my go-to carry for being outside if I want a fixed blade. I got a bunch of really nice fixed blades, but there's something about this almost Skinner-style blade that is so just useful out in the field and just for daily tasks when you're outside, that I've fallen in love with this thing absolutely. I know people complain about the Todd begging right here. I don't care. It's got a really nice set of jimping right here for your thumb. This micarta is beautiful. It's just comfortable. There are a bunch of these. 4 different designs, I think, including a dagger and a bowie, almost a K-bar style that I would have really liked to get my hands on, but I missed the opportunity. So I have this one, and I'm very happy about it. It's weighted in just the right way. It's a little bit blade forward, right? It's got plenty of belly so you can work on the table. It's S35VN, so you can do all of your kitchen work with it right there at the camp kitchen. That's just an excellent knife. I love this thing, and I'm glad I have it. My fixed blades are not like my folders. I have a lot of folding knives. The fixies, I have a number of them, but they're all fairly purpose-specific, and this fit right in. The only thing about this that I wish they'd done, at least in one place, is everything is crowned, which is very comfortable to hold and use, but you can't strike a fire flint with it. So I think what I'm going to do is take my Dremel to just inside to the plunge here and flatten this out to a 90, so I don't have to use the blade edge to do it. And then you can, strike a firestone with it. But beyond that, this is a really nicely done, excellent design fixed blade. And then finally, this one's a little unique. This is a mini glimpse, very much in line with their new budget stuff, except this was from a pre-production run where the Beggs were attempting to bring more budget-friendly versions of their knives to the world, and so they were trying different makers, different alternatives, different outlets. And so they did a run of these that never actually made it to the public. I mean, obviously some did, or I wouldn't have it. But it's D2. It's all steel. It's a little heavy. It's got a really cool G10 backspacer. I think I've shared this with you guys before. But the Bodega is an excellent design. The new budget Bodegas are really nice. This one is impossible to put a price on because I have no idea. Because I never find another one. But so yeah, so that is my Todd Begg knife collection. At least, the all-terrain comes with a really nice Kydex sheath, by the way. That is the entirety of my Todd Begg collection at this time. Having shared with you a bunch of the new budget stuff, I think for sure that I'm going to pick up one of the new budget Quakens, and I might grab one of those budget-oriented Bodegas as well. I think that would round things out really nicely. But anyway, that is my Todd Begg collection. I hope you've enjoyed looking at it. I know I have enjoyed sharing it. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. If you have any questions about these or, any of the knives you've seen on the channel, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Please like this video. It has helped, and subscribe if you haven't. And remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.